We're fast learning that powering AI takes a lot of power. It's highly energy intensive. So how are you helping to reduce the energy footprint of your customers while they're also trying to grow their data storage?
Sure, Mandy. I mentioned that modernizing infrastructure is a part of the bottleneck challenge for AI, and part of that, actually a huge part of that, is the power challenge. Right now, data centers globally consume between 1% and 2% of all the world's power. And by 2030, according to Goldman Sachs, that's expected to go all the way up to 4%. And AI is driving a lot of that, 160% power demand growth by 2030 as well. So ultimately, customers need to look at the full stack to understand where their power consumption is coming from. And a lot of it is actually coming from roughly 80% of the world's data lives on a 70-year-old technology that is 5 to 10 times more power consumptive than flash technology. So ultimately, if we could move more of the world's data towards modern flash technologies, we could bend that curve, and by 2030, we'd only hit 3% of total world power consumption. And this is honestly something that's different for different regions, right? Some places, like here in Singapore, it's a matter of we simply don't have more power on the island itself. And so, in some markets, it's even more urgent to figure out how to bend that curve.
So it's very clear where the solution lies then. There's a solution lie in data corridors between Malaysia and Singapore, for example. I know that discussions are ongoing, but throughout Southeast Asia, a pan-Southeast Asia data corridor sitting alongside a power grid as well. Is that what is needed?
I believe that's part of what it is. If you look at, ultimately, it's a supply chain getting to the outcomes of AI that customers want. And we have to kind of make that supply chain more resilient. And so data is kind of the fuel of AI, and getting power to make certain that you have access to that data is critical. So certainly diversifying where we store that data within the constraints of data sovereignty. But also, as I mentioned, there's an enormous opportunity to optimize power consumption within the data stack today. Again, 80% of the world's data lives on 70-year-old technology. It's this weird dichotomy between AI is incredibly modern, yet so much of what it pulls from is incredibly ancient.